In today's lesson, we are going to learn synthetic division. So, do you guys recall we doing the lesson about long division? And basically, it's this whole process, right, where you're like, okay, what times what will give me m to the third? And then, right, you multiply and then you guys subtract it, bring it down, and then so it's just a long, just tedious process that I showed you guys for long division. Now what we're gonna do is something called synthetic division, and it's just a lot quicker way on how to do long division. Okay, so here are the steps. First, we're gonna look at this polynomial in the numerator, and we are going to write down all the coefficients of the terms. We're going to write all the coefficients of the terms. So here's how you guys set it up. We draw something like this, and now we're going to write down all the coefficients of the polynomial in the first term. So that one, this one, this one, and that one. So I'm going to write those all down. We have 1, -6, -16, and 63. Okay, so all of these ones that I've just highlighted and erasing, those are all those coefficients. Now, see this polynomial in the numerator? What we're gonna do is we are going to take this right here and we're gonna put the opposite of that right there. So just remember it's the opposite of that value. So since it's -7, the opposite of -7 is going to be 7. So if it was m plus 3, the opposite of 3, we would put -3. If it's 4, we would put -4. If it's -1,000,000, we would put 1,000,000. So we always just put the opposite of that one right there. Okay, so now here's how we go about this part. So we're going to drop this one. We're going to put this first one and put it right there. Then what you ask yourself is 7 times 1 will give me this value. So 7 times 1 will be 7. Okay, then we add our -6 plus 7, which is going to be 1. And then 7 times 1 will give us this value right there. So that's going to be 7. And then we add -16 plus 7 will give us -9. And then again, 7 times -9 will give us this one. And that's going to be -63. And then we add. So once we add by the last coefficient, we are done. So now to display your guys' polynomial, this one right here is always going to be your constant value. So we have -9, and then all of the terms after that will just increase by a degree of 1. So since -9 is your constant, the next one right here will have a degree of 1. So we're going to have m and then the coefficient of 1, which is just 1. Then the next one, now we're looking at this one. Now since the one before was a degree of 1, this one's going to be a degree of 2. So m squared. And we are done. So notice, I'm going to erase some of the stuff. Look, m squared minus 9, and look, it's the same, m squared plus m minus 9. And that's how you guys do synthetic division, okay? Now, you guys remember over here that we kept on multiplying this to this, and then we add, and then multiply, add, and we multiply, add. Well, I know an acronym that you guys can remember by, and it's called MAMA. Yo mama. So right here we got, if you remember mama, it's gonna be multiply. Oops. I don't need to write it down for you guys. So mama just means you multiply and then you add. Multiply and then you add. Multiply and then you add. Just keep on multiplying and adding until you're on your very last step, which is this part, when you are on your very last coefficient. So I know that was the first one, so let's look at a second one, okay? All right, so here's example 2. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to do synthetic division instead of long division. So remember, let's write down the polynomial, or remember, the polynomial in the numerator, and we are going to write down each one of these coefficients. So, put it over here. Good, and we have -8, 40, -37, and 30. Now we have our -4, and remember we have to write down the opposite, which is going to be 4. Now let's do synthetic division. We drop it down. We got -8. Now here we go. Mama. Multiply. And then you add. Multiply. And then you add. Multiply. And then you add. So, we got 10 in this problem. Okay, so let me just make sure my math is right there. All right, looks good. So now remember, starting from here at this -5, that's my constant. So -5, and then remember, every coefficient or term after that, then it's just going to increase by 1 in terms of the degree of all of the variables. So, oops. And the next one, we're going to have 8, because that's the coefficient, and then x to the first power. The next one, we're going to have -8, because that's the coefficient, and now it's going to be x squared. And then, so do you guys notice we have a remainder right there? Now remember, when you guys did long division, whenever you had a remainder, you have to, well, since it's +10, we put +10 all over the polynomial we're dividing by, which was over here, x minus 4. So we're going to put it x minus 4. Oops. And there we have it. There's our answer for that problem. Now, these two down below right here, this is where I had the class do a doyo, so I will quickly just go over this with you guys. There's a polynomial, so now we just write the coefficients into our synthetic division. So here we go. We got 5, 14, 12, 14, and 12. Now remember, this number is the opposite. We're going to put -2. So drop the 5 down. Now let's incorporate mama. -2 times a 5 will give us -10. That's the multiply part. Now we're going to add. Now incorporating mama again. Multiply. and then we add. Multiply, and then we add. Multiply, and then we add. Great, we don't have no remainder, so now let's make our polynomial. So remember, constant term, degree of 1, degree of 2, and degree of 3. 6 plus 4k plus 4k squared plus 5k to the third. Once you guys practice this and you get really good, then this whole process just goes a lot quicker. So just remember constant, degree of 1, degree of 2, and degree of 3. Oops. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Example 4. Okay, we're going to write all those coefficients for that polynomial. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's set it up. Coefficient of 1, 2, negative 87, negative 68, and 13. I see my positive 10, so that means it's going to be the opposite. So it's going to be negative 10. So drop down the 1. Got 1. Now we got mama. Negative 10 times 1 is going to be negative 10. Now we're going to add negative 8. Mama multiplying negative 10 times negative 8 will give us 80, and then we add negative 7. Again, multiply. Negative 10 times negative 7 is 70, and then we add. Multiply negative 10 times 2, and then we add. So we got a remainder. So here's our constant, degree of 1, degree of 2, and degree of 3. So 2 plus negative 7x, negative 8x squared, and x to the third. And then at the very end, don't forget the remainder, minus 7 over the polynomial that we just divided by. And if I just erase this, this is the polynomial we're dividing by, x plus 10. So I'm going to put 7 all over x plus 10. And there's your guys's, there's your guys's answer. Okay, so that's the lesson on synthetic division. You guys have 6 or 8 homework problems, I believe, but just look on Google Classroom to see. First video through a new program. Nice. Done. Adios. Good.